Hello and welcome back. I've created this series of short videos to show you the ICTs that you could be using when you think about the task that you've been given. In this video, I focus on simulations. To use simulations, there are some requirements that you will need. For example, you will need access to a computer with a Wi-Fi connection and a data projector or an interactive whiteboard. Alternatively, students could work in a computer lab. Let's look at what these ICTs are. There is the overhead projector, videos, computers, data projectors, multimedia presentations, interactive or smart whiteboards, simulations, games, and the smartphone. Time to look now at simulations in more detail. Firstly, what are they? Well, what is a simulation? The word simulated means to imitate exactly. So basically, a simulation is a type of role play, which will definitely get the students interested. So just to reiterate that, it is a type of role play. Now, what are instructional simulations? Well, an instructional simulation is when students use a model of behavior to gain a better understanding of a particular behavior or a trait or whatever you're looking at. So, for example, when students create a pond ecosystem with an online program, they are learning about biological concepts by simulating an actual ecosystem setup. Students often use simulations to make predictions about the natural world, and so it will develop higher order thinking skills. So it models behavior. Now, why teach with simulations? Well, instructional simulations have the potential to engage students in deep learning that empowers their understanding, as opposed to surface learning or rote learning that requires only memorization. Deep learning means that the students will learn scientific methods, such as the importance of model building in science, the relationships among variables in a model or models. They will learn about data issues, probability and sampling theory, and they will also learn how to use a model to predict outcomes. Now, deep learning means the students learn to reflect on and extend their knowledge by actively engaging in student to student or instructor to student conversations needed to conduct a simulation. They will be transferring knowledge to new problems and situations. Their understanding and refining their own thought processes will happen, and they will see social processes and social interactions in action. Now I'm going to look at some of the simulations you can do. The FET interactive simulations developed by the University of Colorado have simulations for science. There are 6 for biology: color vision, gene expression, molecule polarity, natural selection, the neuron, and the pH scale. Here I'm showing you how to use the gene expression one. You click on the link and it will take you to the model, and you can students will then have a chance to play around with affinity, with concentration, and so on in terms of transcription factors and polymerase. Now, I did not know what was going on in that simulation. Fortunately, FET have resources for teachers. It is a free website. You just have to register, and you will then have access to the teacher tips and the video that will show you what can be done. Another source of simulations, or another place, is the biology simulations. Here I'm looking at the one for cell energy, and you can be done with photosynthesis as a biological process. I've clicked here on the one on enzymes, and you can play around with the different types of variables, such as the amount of glucose, the amount of enzymes, and so on. And it will show you what is happening at a molecular level in terms of the different molecules. And it will also provide a graph of the concentrations. So you could play around, for example, with the amount of glucose inhibitor, amylase inhibitor, the amount of maltase, the pH, and it will graph the molecule concentration for you. So students will be able to think about what is happening when, for example, the pH is above 7 or there's an inhibitor and so on. Another one that I've chosen, as you can see there are a few, is looking at the hereditary one. In this one, students will be able to select phenotypes for the F1 generation. There's also a worksheet and virtual lab available. So they would click on the female and the male P generation. You then let the simulation run and it will show you the number of offspring, and it will give it to you in a set of numbers, and students could then work out the ratios. So that is the types of simulations that are available. Now, how to teach with simulations? For them to be effective, it requires instructor preparation, active student participation, and a post-simulation discussion. For instructor preparation, good news is it will help stimulate student understanding. Bad news is many simulations require intensive lesson preparation. In terms of student participation, students have to actively engage in problem solving. A post-stimulation discussion is extremely important for students to understand what has been happening, and this information was found on Pedagogy in Action. Until next time, everybody, this was the Opinionated Science Educator.